with Chairman Rohrbacher and the ranking member on our trip to Iraq on June the 11th. We did visit with Maliki, discussed many issues with him, and one of those issues was we wanted to go to Camp Ashraf and get the resident side of what happened to them and the camp in April. After almost 2 hours of talking, and a lot of talk, as the statement has sometimes been said, when all is said and done, more is said than done, we were not allowed to go to Camp Ashraf. He was adamant about that, and we respected his decision since he was in charge of the nation. But my question then and now is still the same. Why not? What did Maliki have to hide? If he was right about his position, and he articulated his position, I thought, quite well, why couldn't he be open-minded enough to let us get the viewpoint from the residents that lived in Camp Ashraf? And he denied us that access to those people. So it seems to me he had plenty to hide as the reason we weren't allowed to go to Camp Ashraf and hear from the residents. When the Iraqi soldiers stormed Camp Ashraf on April the 8th, fired at the residents and ran them over with American Humvees, 36 were killed, including women and children. It was a human rights atrocity, and the U.S., with thousands of troops still fighting for peace in Iraq, has done little more than issue just a statement. Has not conducted its own investigation, hasn't asked the UN to investigate, and there is no point in the Iraqi government investigating the attack because they are the ones who ordered the attack. They certainly are going to find no fault with the action of their own military. A week after the attack, a letter with 18 members of the House to Secretary Clinton and Secretary Gates asking them to shed some light on this violent attack. It is now July. To date, there is blissful silence from the administration and have given us no answer for this inhumane attack of Iraq on the people of Iraq. I guess they are too busy bombing Libya in the name of humanity to get back with us. Instead, the administration has proposed a new relocation plan for the camp. They want to move the camp to some other location within Iraq. This is the same plan the Iranians themselves proposed years ago. We have heard how dangerous this would be to the residents of the camp. In May, I sent a letter to Secretary Clinton opposing this misguided plan. Camp Ashraf is recognized around the world as a refuge for those who oppose the Iranian regime. And if we move it within Iraq, they will lose that public recognition while leaving residents under the same control of the Army. There's something directly under our control that we can do, and that is we can take the MEK off the foreign terrorist organization list. One of the obstacles in moving Camp Ashraf to a peaceful third country is that they are still designated as terrorists by the United States. I've introduced a bipartisan legislation, HRES 60, that urges the Secretary of State to take the MEK off the foreign terrorist organization list. I have seen and been in all the classified briefings that I know of regarding the MEK, and I am not convinced that they should remain on the list. The State Department has not made their case to keep them on the list, therefore they should be removed. The MEK should not be used as a political tool to appease any dictators in the world. 83 of my colleagues agree with me. As a nation, we've promised to protect these Iranian individuals. No matter what we think of the MEK, we should all agree that no group, especially one that has given up terrorism and given up all of its weapons, deserves to have its human rights trampled on by Iraq or Iran or anyone else. We have given Iraq a democracy and freedom. It's time they start acting like they deserve it and provide safety for Camp Ashraf residents and the MEK. And I will yield to the gentleman, Mr. Filner, for his opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe I need I would like an unanimous consent that I be allowed to officially sit here as a member of the committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate your courage and activism on this issue. Also, you know, I was reading the testimony, Mr. Chairman, of our panelists in advance just to be prepared. and I notice one of the panelists spends his whole time discrediting or trying to discredit the MEK.